Hi guys, this is Ms. Stoyan here, and today I'm going to speak about the research questions, or how do you come up with a research question that is engaging, that you're interested in, but also one that is worthy of investigating. Okay, there's different ways in which you can choose a topic first of all, and the first one is to go with a practical problem that you know exists outside in the field. Maybe you can pay attention to a company and some of their challenges recently, something that they've been struggling with, and form a research question around this phenomena. And then, once you go forward and explore this topic, your dissertation would basically be about how this company can solve this particular problem. And another way of choosing a topic and then developing a research question is to focus on theory. Theory is just a bunch of papers and articles that has been written on this particular topic. Theoretical frameworks exist and can be utilized in multiple contexts. A theoretical framework typically is just something that involves the different factors that comprise of a phenomenon, as well as the relationships between these variables, these factors. And you can start reading some of these discussions that already exist in the literature and then realize, hey, this is something interesting that I'm interested in. And not many people speak about this aspect. And therefore, you would be kind of guided by theory or the current debates within the literature into what topic is worthy of pursuing. So you can choose either, again, the phenomenon-based or the theory-based concentration for your research, for your dissertation. Both are good. Both are actually great, and you can do very well with either. One important aspect that I want you to consider is which one of those you're really passionate about. And I know the research process may not go very well hand in hand with passion, but if you find your passion within research, this is going to make the whole journey of developing the dissertation or conducting research much easier. So, what are you particularly interested in? Is it something that comes from your readings? Perhaps for some of your courses, you had to read an article that you felt particularly interesting. And if you did so, this could be a theory-driven research. Or did you do an internship or get exposure to a company that's facing some sort of challenge? And if you did so, then this can be what gives rise to the phenomenon-based problem that you would like to explore. So your passion or your interest is a very important factor. Another factor that you need to consider is what are you planning to do with that in the future? For example, many of you would be selecting a phenomenon-based topic because they would imagine that they would be in a position to speak about this phenomenon later on when they're, let's say, being interviewed for a position, for a job, and particularly if this problem that they tackled in their research is popular within the industry that they would like to apply for later, then it makes sense to speak about this problem and how your research managed to solve this problem. So this is very much the utility of your research. You need to consider what you want to do with that research later on. And some of you may be interested in doing a PhD later on. And if you are interested in PhD, perhaps you're better off selecting more of a topic that comes from a theory. In this particular way, you can build up or contribute to already existing discussions that have emerged within the literature, within the broader literature. The third thing I want you to consider is feasibility. We have limited time for completing your research. Therefore, you really need to be honest to yourself and figure out, okay, is it something that I can realistically achieve within a limited period of time? Maybe 1 month, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months. Of course, the more time you have, the better, because you need to allocate time for each one of the steps of the research process. But feasibility is very important. You should not be overly optimistic. If you have to, learn a completely new methodology that you haven't had any exposure to in the past, let's say statistics, then it may be more challenging to fit within that time frame of completing the research. and therefore it may turn out that this is not a feasible topic for you, and therefore you may choose another methodology that you are more aware of, maybe a qualitative methodology, or vice versa. It can go vice versa. So feasibility is a very, very important factor that will guide your topic selection. And something I would like to kind of wrap up all that with is the importance of the research question you have. The wording of the research question is very important, because the way you word the question will really suggest to whoever is reading your piece of work which type of methodology you have chosen. Or maybe you haven't chosen yet, but you need to consider, because if you, for example, ask how questions, your research question starts with the word how, it would suggest that you're really interested in any sort of relationship between different variables that may interact as part of this research. And if you do so, maybe a good idea would be to pick a qualitative methodology. We are going to speak more about that later, but just to make you aware just now about the importance of how you word your research question. And if you're trying to measure the impact of a factor over another factor, then this is very much a question that will force you to engage in quantitative methodologies or statistical regression, for example. So make sure you are consistent. It's very important to communicate your research question and research objectives to, let's say, external people, maybe your supervisor, and you have to carry it through. You have to, once you finalize your research question, you need to proceed with conducting the right type of methodology or selecting the methods, and your supervisor would expect you to be consistent. Therefore, it would be really beneficial for you to consider the exact wording of the question as early as possible and consider how this may have implications for the methodology you choose. All right, so I will try to keep it short. I'm not going to drag this video any longer. Do let me know if you have questions down below in the comment section. I try to get back to every single person. And if you have any questions, I may as well create another video to address those. And some of the topics that we'll cover in the coming sessions would be related to your literature review, how you can conduct one in the most efficient way so that it doesn't take you ages to conduct a comprehensive literature review, and many more sessions are scheduled. So make sure you subscribe if you like that content. If you feel it is useful, you may as well hit the like button to indicate that you're interested in more content of this type. Okay, this is everything from me for today, and peace out.